Everyone is talking about whether this new USCIS memo means adjustment of status is going away. In my opinion, USCIS is sending a message, and that message is simple. Getting a green card through adjustment of status will become harder. My name is Orelmy Diaz. I'm an immigration attorney. I'm based in Texas, but I represent clients all over the United States. I focus on marriage green card cases. And when this memo came out, my inbox immediately filled up with questions. People were sending me articles, screenshots, and Facebook posts. And almost everyone was asking the same thing. Do I need to leave the United States now to get a green card? The short answer to that is no, because the law has not changed. Marriage green cards still exist. Adjustment of status still exists. USCIS is still accepting and processing applications for adjustment of status because they have to. If you qualify under the law today, you can still apply for adjustment of status. So if the law didn't change, why is everyone talking about this memo? Because USCIS is changing the way it wants officers to think about adjustment of status. So for many years, adjustment of status has been a pathway for permanent residency. Adjustment of status was created by Congress to allow eligible people already inside the United States to apply for a green card without leaving the United States. But in this memo, USCIS is describing adjustment of status as an extraordinary benefit. USCIS is telling officers that just because someone qualifies for adjustment of status, that doesn't mean they have to approve the case. USCIS is encouraging officers to think about whether that person should have completed the process through a U.S. embassy or consulate. They want to now make a problem of people applying for adjustment of status in the United States, and they are saying that people should go back to their home countries and apply for a green card there. And that's my concern. Yes, adjustment of status has always been discretionary. We already knew that. No immigration lawyer is surprised by that. But I believe this memo goes much further than simply reminding officers about discretion. In my opinion, this memo is treating adjustment of status as an exception rather than a pathway that Congress specifically created for eligible people already in the United States. It is obvious to me that USCIS is trying to discourage people from applying for adjustment of status. That's my opinion after reading this memo. You need to understand that adjustment of status is not some rare process. It is actually one of the primary ways people obtain green cards inside the United States. Adjustment of status is part of the law passed by Congress. A policy memo doesn't change the law. Congress has not eliminated adjustment of status. Congress have not eliminated marriage green cards. And if you qualify under the law today, you are still qualified to apply for adjustment of status. But even if you disagree with this memo, we still have to deal with the reality. That reality is that USCIS officers have now been instructed to think about these cases in a different way, to analyze the cases differently. So let's talk about what this means for marriage green card cases. Well, if you are married to a U.S. citizen and you enter the United States legally, the law still protects you. You can still apply for a green card even if you overstayed a visa or worked without authorization. This memo doesn't remove those protections. That is very important because I have seen a lot of misinformation online over the past few days. Some people are acting as if marriage green cards no longer exist or as if everyone must leave the country and apply abroad. That is not what the law says. However, the memo does tell officers to consider immigration violations and negative factors when exercising discretion. USCIS specifically mentioned things like overstaying a visa and working without authorization. For example, imagine someone entered the United States with a tourist visa, overstay the visa, and then marry a US citizen. This is a very common scenario. For many years, that person will focus on showing to USCIS that they qualify under the law. But now, USCIS is telling us that the officers need to put more attention to that person's immigration history and that they should consider overstays as negative factors when deciding whether to approve the green card. Does that mean that every case is going to be denied? Well, no. What it means is that USCIS is telling officers to place more emphasis on discretion. And that's why preparation matters more than ever. So, what I'm telling my clients after reading this memo? Well, first, if you are eligible to apply, I'm not telling people to stop filing. The law has not changed. Second, you have to take your case seriously. A marriage green card case is not just forms. Your immigration history matters now more than ever. Your evidence matters. Your credibility with USCIS matters. And if USCIS is going to focus more on discretion, then every part of your case becomes even more important. Third, you have to build a strong marriage evidence. And also remember this, your job is not just to show that you are married. Your job is to show that your marriage is real. Finally, if your case has complications, you need to get legal advice before you file anything with USCIS. Every case is different, and overstays, unauthorized employment, unlawful presence, prior immigration filings, violations, denials, that can all affect how your case is reviewed. My position with this memo is simple. Don't panic, but don't ignore this memo either. The law has not changed. Congress has not eliminated adjustment of status, and you can still apply for your green card inside the United States. But I believe USCIS is sending a message that obtaining a green card through adjustment of status will become more difficult if officers begin applying this memo aggressively. For now, the best thing that you can do is to stay informed, understand your options, and make sure your case is prepared as strongly as possible before you file anything with USCIS. Because if there is one lesson from this memo, is this: preparation matters more than ever. And because I received so many questions about this memo, I created a free guide called the New USCIS Adjustment of Status Memo, What Marriage Green Card Couples Need to Know Right Now. If you would like a copy, the link is right here in the description so you can get it, and I will see you in the next video.